Hello and welcome into the North Penn High School turf field for playoff action between the North Penn Knights and the Souderton Indians in girls field hockey action. For North Penn Television, I'm Jake Lobeck alongside me, Eric Jesberger, bringing you all the action between Knights and Indians. North Penn comes in at 12-5-1, Souderton at 9-10. And the first round of district playoffs. Very good game in store. North Penn ranked 11th, Souderton at 22, and the winner of this game will go on to face Plymouth Whitemarsh. Let's go on to some game lineups for Souderton. We have number 2, Courtney Keenan, number 3, Caitlin Lennon, number 4, Anna Grzałzinski, number 7, Jenna Hunsiker, number 10, Jess Gabriel, number 12, Liz O'Hara, 13, Randy Hess, 16, Jess Schmidt, 17, Julia Borisu, 20, Grace DeThomas, and in net we have Jordan McCulloch.
And on the North Penn side, we have Kristen Varilla, Bree O'Donnell, Michaela Barrow, Megan Daniels, Emily Crawford, Eleni Contrabas, Kelly Pickford, Julia Scanlon, Rachel Fisher, Lauren Fahey, Erica Kelly, and in net for the Knights, Anissa Gardizzi. Just as you said, a very good matchup tonight. Two playoff contending teams, as we have here tonight. And we'll get set for action as the teams take the field.
And interesting to note, North Penn saw Souderton twice in the regular season, and they won both times. The first one at Souderton, they won 3-2. The second time at home, and they won 2-1. But both games were extremely close between the Knights and the Indians. Also, the Knights finishing second in their league in the Suburban 1 League Continental Conference, just behind Central Bucks East. However, the Knights did beat CB East, and they gave them their only conference loss of the season. So the Knights field hockey team fared rather well this year in the Continental Conference.
And yes, along with that note, winner of this game, as we said, plays Plymouth Whitemarsh. And the last game here on senior night, North Penn Knights having a fantastic game, winning PW late in the game, taking the lead 4-3 as they look to play him once again here with the dub tonight.
And so the stage is set, Knights versus Indians, as we commence here at the turf field. Knights turn it over there, Indians take it the other way, and it's number 4, Gazinski, moving upfield rather, and she's going to lose it there. The Knights commit a foul, and Indians keep it. It's over to number 16, Schmidt. She's going to turn it over to Barrow. Barrow takes it right about midfield, and the Knights looking to continue upfield. Barrow up to O'Donnell. O'Donnell striking her 75th goal just the other game. And now she looks to continue her way upfield. Trip there, and a corner for the Knights. And O'Donnell to pass it out for the Knights. O'Donnell passes it to Barrow. Barrow takes a shot, and she scores! Michaela Barrow strikes the Knights up early with 28:53 left in this first half.
Fantastic start for the Knights. As you saw in last game, a lot of corner attempts, especially late in the game for the Knights once they got momentum going. And obviously we see that momentum coming off the regular season, right into playoff action. And your first goal of the game put the Knights up 1-0, just under 2 minutes here played in the first quarter.
As now Indians looking to strike back as they start with possession. Fan on the pass attempt, recovered by Hunsiker. She'll pass it over to number 2, Lennon. Lennon gives it back to Hunsiker, and they play catch. They go up the near sideline, taken away by Daniels. But she commits a foul and taken right back by Lennon. Rather, Keenan and the Indian shall pass up. Taken right back by Daniels. She'll send it up to Bear. She has to sled on to catch up with it, and then leads a leading pass to O'Donnell, taken away by the Indians. And it's going to be number 17, Borisu, passing over towards the center of the field. She turns it over to Pickford. Pickford has it for the Knights. Taken back by the Indians off the whistle. It's Hunsiker. She'll send it over to number 10. That's Gabriel. The Indians get a corner there as they were within striking zone.
Souderton with a hard attack upfield there. The Knights able to push down the attack, however. Souderton will look for a corner attempt here, looking tied up early on.
And it looks like that's Courtney Keenan with the corner, passing it out. The shot blocked by Faye, and Faye's going to clear it out of bounds. Good defensive play by Lauren Faye. And Keenan's going to pass it back in for the Indians. She'll pass over to Hunsiger. Sends it towards the middle of the field. Indians have it. Tried reverse, taken away by Daniels. And North Penn's going to go the other way. It's Scanlon passing up the far sideline. It looks like that's Reese with a burst of speed. Moving upfield over to O'Donnell. Pass is deflected, but O'Donnell catches up with it. She fans on the pass attempt, taken away by the Indians, and they look to go the other way. That is DeThomas there for the Indians. That's actually O'Hara now. Pass is taken back by Scanlon, it looks like. And her pass is blocked. And the Indians regather. Taken away by Barrow. And Barrow looking to move upfield. Pass over to O'Donnell, and the goalkeeper, McCallick, comes out to make the kick save for the Indians. As the Knights were in striking position. North Penn's now going to continue with possession. It's Kelly moving up the middle of the field. And it's Barrow with the shot. And actually North Penn's going to get a corner.
Great attack there by Barrow as well, playing some defense on the offensive side. Able to take the ball away and push in. However, the goalie McCallick able to come out of the net and make a great stop. But the Knights now in action here. Once again in Souderton territory.
And it's O'Donnell passing out once again. We saw earlier O'Donnell pass to Barrow for the goal. Here's O'Donnell. Back to Barrow once again. And we'll retry the corner. On the second try, it's O'Donnell passing out to Barrow once again. Barrow has the ball tip up off her stick, and Faye has to regather. And now the Indians take over. Passed up. Good defensive play by Fisher, but nonetheless, the Indians take back off the whistle. It's now number 12, O'Hara, moving up the far sideline. She's going to slam on the brakes. Sends it towards the middle of the field for number 10, Gabriel. Taken away by the Knights, and O'Donnell has it moving upfield. Sends a lead pass to Morgan Reese. She splits the two defenders, and she's now one-on-one if she can catch up. One defender back for the Indians. And now a corner for the Knights. The third corner already in this game for North Penn.
You see, that's great early on, pushing a lot of congestion in front of the net and able to get those corners. It's a great pass there, leading pass up, and another Knights opportunity. As we reach 2 minutes and 24 minutes now here in the first half with the score 1-0, Knights up.
And O'Donnell passing out to Barrow. Barrow gives a pass off to Scanlon. Scanlon takes a shot. Nearly deflected in off of O'Donnell, but just wide and out of bounds. Indians take over. Almost a great redirection by O'Donnell. Just too wide, and the Indians look to take over. It is now number 3, Lennon, passing up off of Pickford and out of bounds. And the Indians look to continue with possession. It's Hunsiker. She's going to leave it off for Lennon. Lennon passing up to Hunsiker. Back to Lennon. Indians are going to continue with possession. And it's going to be Lennon once again. Pass bounces over Keenan's stick and out of bounds. Megan Daniels to take over for the Knights. Daniels passes intercepted and knocked out of bounds. North Penn will retry here. Daniels lobs the pass over the defender's stick, taken away by the Indians. It gets to midfield before Erica Kelly takes over. And she'll continue possession for North Penn.
Great defense early on presented by both sides, especially around this middle of the field. The fight for the midfield is on between the Knights and Indians.
And the Indians take over there, and her pass is intercepted by Fisher, poked free by the Indians. And they look to take over. It's Gazinski for the Indians over to 16 Schmidt. Looks like that went out of bounds. And the Indians will continue with possession. The pass towards the center of the field, taken away by the Knights, deflected by the Knights rather, and the Indians still have it. poked free and out of bounds. Indians continue with possession. Pass towards the center of the field to Gazazinski. And North Penn takes over. Looks like that's Kelly giving a long pass intended for O'Donnell. She has O'Donnell, and it's a 3-on-2 for North Penn if they can hurry. O'Donnell cut off by the defender, maintains possession, gives a lead pass over to Barrow. Barrow over to Reese, tic-tac-toe passing. Reese splits the defender, takes a shot, and she scores! Morgan Reese puts Knights up 2-0 early in the first half.
Amazing attack there by the Knights, pushing all the way from deep in their own territory. A great leading pass, and is able to get up to Barrow, and then finishing off there. The Knights 2-0 here in the first half, leading over Souderton as we reach the 22-minute mark.
And that was not Reese, that was actually Emily Crawford doing the job for the Knights. Put them up 2-0.
Great momentum here. It looks like a timeout called by Souderton.
And Souderton really wants to regroup here. Already finding themselves down 2-0 early on in this first half with 22:18 left. In this first half, down 2-0 against a strong North Penn team.
Yes, and that North Penn team with a lot of momentum, as we said, from the playoffs. I was able to interview Miss Anthony, she's the assistant coach for the Knights earlier this week, and she said she felt that the season ended on a great note with that PW win, and the team was on good vibes, as she said, and definitely a lot of momentum building here with a great early lead with 2-0 the score.
And North Penn did beat PW 3-2 on senior night for the Knights. And as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, if North Penn wins or Souderton wins, no matter which team wins, they will go on to face Plymouth Whitemarsh in the second round of district playoffs. So we'll look to see who can prevail in this game between Knights and Indians before we think second round playoff action.
And that PW team is a very good team. They played, especially on that senior night for the Knights. So whoever does get there, it'd be a great contest to be out to.
Stay with her. Come on. One at a time. Come on, 7.
And so Gazazinski will start for the Indians. She'll send it back to number 10, Gabriel, over to the near sideline. That's Hunziker. Sends upfield, intercepted by the Knights. That looks like that's Scanlon. And North Penn will continue with possession over to Crawford, the latest goal scorer for the Knights. Crawford sends it over to Varilla along the far sideline. Varilla moving up the field. Cut off by the Souderton defender, but she'll continue with possession. Varilla sending over to Scanlon. Scanlon gets around one defender and then loses it. North Penn will continue with possession. Scanlon sends it towards the slot. Pass is blocked, and Varilla takes over for the Knights. It's Varilla who has it along the far sideline, out of bounds, and Souderton takes over.
Great attack there by Varilla up in that corner. A lot of one-on-one action, but too many jerseys in red were a swarmer. However, the Knights will continue to attack here in Souderton territory.
Let's take it back. At the line, it's Faye, and now a corner for the Knights.
Knights able, as we said, able to push that congestion and able to find another corner attempt here, as we'll see if it will find Barrow again, as it has on both corners so far. Excuse me, three corners so far.
And O'Donnell passing out to Barrow once again, as Eric predicted. Leads it off to Faye. Faye over to Crawford. Crawford just keeps it inbounds, and now Souderton has to take over.
You gotta open it up.
Now pass along the near side to number 7. That's Hunziker. She slows down, slams on the brakes. Taken away by Barrow for the Knights. And Barrow trying to get around Hunziker. And North Penn continues with possession off the whistle. It's to Pickford for the Knights. Pickford up to Barrow. Bounces over her stick and it's going to roll out of bounds. Indians take over. And that's Lennon passing up to Keenan. Souderton continue with possession. It's going to be Lennon once again. Pass intercepted by O'Donnell. And Lennon to continue for the Indians. Pass towards the center of the field. Looks like that's Schmidt moving up, getting around Crawford, and then taken away by Verilla and the Knights. Verilla going the other way along the far sideline, stood up by the Souderton Indians defender, and she'll look to pass downfield. She has an open man, taken away by Faye and the Knights, and they'll continue with possession. And now Daniels passing over to Pickford. Pickford receives a pass, sends it up to Barrow. Barrow goes between the legs of the defender and tries to go upfield. She'll continue with possession. Have to remark the position of the ball, and Pickford will continue for the Knights. Pickford sends it down to O'Donnell. Pass deflects off her stick and out of bounds. Indians take over.
And yes, that's when we reach this 19-minute mark. 2-0. The Knights still up and continuing to apply the pressure in Souderton territory.
And Pickford with nifty stick work gets around the defender and then poked out of bounds. And the Knights will continue. That was off of Keenan and Pickford to continue for the Knights. Pickford sends it back to Daniels. Daniels pass is intercepted. And the Souderton Indians look to go the other way. It's Gazinski. It's a 2-on-2. Indians and Knights. Gazinski sends it towards the slot. A centering pass, tip free and out of bounds. Good defensive play by Rachel Fisher.
Almost a collision there between three players. However, Fisher able to get a stick on it on that chopping pass towards the center. Great play there by the Knights. But Souderton will resume possession here.
And the pass was intended for Hess for the Indians. But she could not control the pass, and it went out of bounds after the deflection off of Fisher. And that pass by the Indians goes out of bounds as well, and the Knights take over. It's Kelly passing up to Barrow. Barrow didn't expect the pass and taken back by the Indians. Gets around Barrow. And now her pass goes free and intercepted by Kelly. Kelly's pass is intercepted. And good passing there by the Indians over to Keenan. Keenan to number 7, Hunsicker. And a corner for the Indians.
The Knights there swarming, boarding that. A quick attack there by Souderton. But Souderton now here with down by 2. They're looking to put up something on the board. Get something started here for Souderton.
And the pass over to number 10, Gabriel. Gabriel over to 17, Borsu. Takes a shot and just beats Gardesi on the near side. And Souderton strikes 2-1 now to score.
Great shot. Yeah. Great shot there by Borso, able to take a moment and look for her shot as the Knights were unable to contest her. Close to Anissa. The hard shot just beats Anissa to the glove side.
That was scored with 17:05 left in the first half to give North Penn now a 2-1 lead. And Souderton moving up the far sideline out of bounds. North Penn takes over. It's going to be Rachel Fisher for the Knights. Fisher's pass intercepted. And the Indians will move the other way. Daniels takes the pass there for the Knights, sending over to Scanlon. Scanlon gets around the defender and looks to go upfield out of bounds. And North Penn will continue with possession. It's going to be Rachel Fisher for the Knights. Fisher up to Scanlon. Scanlon over to O'Donnell. O'Donnell gets around the one defender. She'll continue with possession. O'Donnell now feeds Crawford. Intercepted by the Indians. And they'll go the other way. Pass is blocked by O'Donnell. And the Indians will continue with possession. It's Gabriel. Stretch pass down to the middle of the field. Tipped by the Knights and out of bounds. Maybe deflected off the Indians as North Penn takes over. It's Fisher for the Knights. And Fisher passing up to Verilla. Stolen by the Indians. They look to go the other way. Up to Gazinski. And now the Knights take over. It's going to be Fisher in their own zone. Rachel Fisher sends the pass up to Scanlon. Scanlon over to O'Donnell. Lead pass over to Crawford. Intercepted by the Indians. They look to go the other way. Her pass is too far and out of bounds. North Penn takes over. Varela has it for the Knights. Varela to Scanlon. That was actually Fisher to Scanlon. Now to Varela. And now Varela moving up to O'Donnell. O'Donnell still has it. And a corner for the Knights.
And a great job on the far end of the field. We saw Varela showing some hustle, able to get to the sideline and keep that ball in play. And along with that, keeping the ball moving upfield. And O'Donnell there with contact, forces the corner, and the Knights now once again in Souderton territory with another corner attempt here tonight. With the score 2-1, Knights up by 1.
And O'Donnell for the Knights. Passing out to Barrow. Barrow takes a shot, roofs it, and over the net. Out of bounds. Indians take over.
Just a bit high there. Probably looking for the crossbar.
Rather, Knights will I'll wait the call as waiting on possession for a ball. Looks like Knights will continue with possession, actually.
Must have been a deflection there by Souderton defense. Able to knock down that hard shot by Barrow. The Knights here once again in Indians territory. We'll see what they can do here.
And Kelly has it over to Reese. Reese gets around one defender. Nearly loses it. She now loses it to Gazinski. And Gazinski moving up the lone soul for the Indians. She has one trailer, gets around Daniels, and then taken away by Faye. Good defensive play by Faye. And now North Penn takes over. Faye has it for the Knights. She'll send it over. Pass blocked down by Gazinski. And the Indians take over. Gazinski has it. Gets around one defender and then stood up by Daniels. They still have it in the slot. And now taken away by Scanlon. And kicked by the Indians. Scanlon will continue possession. Sends a lead pass to Barrow. Barrow has to catch up before it goes out of bounds. Just too far and out of bounds. Indians take over now. Number 3, Keenan has it for the Indians. Keenan. Nearly taken away by the Knights. And Reese will continue for North Penn. Reese slams on the brakes, tries to get around the defender. She'll feed Varela instead. And Varela has it along the far sideline, rather. And that's Stoltler for the Knights. She'll send it back to Varela to resume action here on the turf field. Varela has it. Varela working the outside. Tries to cut to the inside. Poked free by the Indians. And it looks like they'll take over. The pass up the field by the Indians to Gazinski, taken away by the Knights. And she'll feed Scanlon in the middle of the field. And now the Indians take over. It's going to be number 10, Gabriel, passing up to number 2, Keenan. And the pass up to Gazinski. Anissa Gardisi comes out of the save to make the net. And now kick save. She leaves the net wide open. Shot failed. A fanned attempt on the shot by number 2, Keenan. And Gardisi makes a diving save. Good job by Anissa Gardisi to keep the Indians off the board.
Great job by Anissa coming out of her net on that leading pass by the Souderton Indians. Able to forcing a great attempt there. And with 2 shots on Anissa, she stands tall and knocks them both away.
Now another shot on net. It's actually, the play was blown dead and North Penn will take over. The pass deflected up. And then received by Stoltler, taken away by the Indians right away. And they look to go the other way. Indians still have it. Moving upfield, pass is deflected. And the Indians will continue with possession. It's going to be number 10, Gabriel, who has it for the Indians. She'll actually leave it to Schmidt. Pass deep, too far and out of bounds. Pass was intended for Hess. Now North Penn takes over. It's Kelly for the Knights. Kelly's pass up to Scanlon. Scanlon sends it over, intended for Solar, taken away by the Indians. She'll send it downfield. Gets around the defender. Anissa Gardisi comes out the net to make a diving stick save and a corner for the Indians. Fourth save of the contest for Gardisi.
Adisa coming out with another great diving stop, avoiding a Souderton potential goal, their game time goal there, over the Souderton Indians will now get a corner attempt here in North Penn Knights territory.
That's going to be Keenan passing it out for the Indians. She'll pass it out to Gabriel. Sends it over to the near sideline. That's Boris who takes the shot, blocked. And out of bounds, North Penn takes over. And on the windy night here at the turf field, it's going to be Kelly to start with possession. Kelly sends it to Barrow. Barrow takes the pass. She'll send it over to Crawford. Crawford springing up the near sideline. Tries to get her around one defender. Steps on the stick, and Indians take over. And it's going to be 17 Borso for the Indians. Sending it to the midfield. It's Goodwin. Schmidt. Schmidt sends it over. Taken away by Kelly. And Hess will continue for the Indians. She'll leave it off for Schmidt. Schmidt sends it down. Blocked by Kelly. And the Indians continue with possession. They have all the momentum right now. And it's still Gabriel. The reverse chip and blocked down, and North Penn takes over.
Hard high shot there. Backhanded shot by Souderton. However, Anise able to get a glove on it and knock that away. And as play stops, 2-1 here. The Knights up by 1 as we reach just under the 9-minute mark here in our first half.
And timeout called by the Knights. As I mentioned, the Indians have all the momentum right now, moving in their way. And Gardisi has come up big, making 5 saves so far, only allowing 1 goal in.
Yes, and you saw in that one play, North Penn, the fans weren't too happy on that call, but, you know, a lot of support out here, especially on both sides. Great amount of fans out here tonight. Looks like a full house for some great turf action between both teams here with playoff action at North Penn. And along with both great teams, a lot of offense so far, but great defensive play, especially along the sidelines. Especially Barrow coming up with some great stops for the Knights. But both sides definitely holding their own around midfield. And with Anissa with, as you said, 5 saves, and McCallick with 2 on the day. The score is just 2-1 here in the first half of play.
And Gardisi led in 1 goal to Barrow at the 17:05 mark in the first half. McCallick let in 2. First one to Barrow with 28:53 left, and the second one to Crawford at 22:18. Nonetheless, North Penn leads 2-1, 8:56 left in this first half. And the Knights will start with possession out of the timeout. And it's going to be Kelly for the Knights. Kelly sends it over to Fisher. Fisher sends it up. And O'Donnell has it for the Knights, tips it to herself, and she'll send it up, a leading pass to Stoltler. Stood up by the Indians, and North Penn will continue with possession. It's O'Donnell. Moving forward, sends a lead pass to Crawford. She takes it into the slot, and the Indians take over there.
Great attempt there. Hard passes upfield for the Knights. However, Souderton able to lock it down and now pick up possession as they'll look to move back in North Penn territory.
And the Indians continue with possession. That was Borso passing up. Her pass is taken away by Stoltler. And then taken right back. But the whistle blows and North Penn takes over. It's Pickford for the Knights. Pickford sends it up to Scanlon. Scanlon now over to O'Donnell. Taken back by the Indians, and they'll look to go the other way. Looks like that's number 17, Borso. passes over to Hunsicker. Now pass all the way downfield. No receiver in the area, and Faye takes over for the Knights. Tries to get around one defender, and she'll continue with possession now. It's Faye sending it over to Reese. Reese gets around one defender, and now she'll look to move upfield. She leads it off to Crawford. Crawford has it for the Knights, over to O'Donnell. O'Donnell for North Penn, gets around one defender. Poked free, but regathers. Now working the outside. She'll try to pitch it to herself and catch up with it. And the Knights will continue with possession. It's going to be Crawford. Crawford over to Reese. Poked free by the Indians, and they go the other way for, it's going to be number 2, Lennon, Christian Keenan. And now North Penn takes over. Off the call from the ref, it's Kelly for the Knights to take over. Kelly up to O'Donnell. And now it's Scanlon. She'll dump it to the corner. Miscommunication between Crawford, O'Donnell, and Scanlon. And the Indians take over. It's going to be number 17, Boriso, for the Indians. Boriso's pass is intercepted by O'Donnell. O'Donnell pitches it over to Stoltler. Taken away by the Indians. That was number 20 to Thomas with a good defensive play. Now slams on the brakes. And she'll look for an open receiver. Passes up. And taken there by Hess. And taken away by Scanlon. And now the Indians go the other way off the whistle. She'll send it up to Keenan. Taken away by the Knights. It looks like that's Reese. And taken back by Keenan. Pitches it up, and Faye takes over, but once again, North Penn turns it over off the whistle. And now it's going to be Schmidt. Indians continue with possession. Schmidt has it. Schmidt sends it over to the far side winger. Tries to get around Scanlon. She'll send it towards the slot. And he's going to roll out of bounds. North Penn takes over.
And Souderton able to answer there, pushing back upfield after a lot of stops, especially in their own territory by the Knights. Some stops coming from O'Donnell and Barrow and Stotler. North Penn showing some a lot of defense here as they look to continue possession and push up into Souderton territory.
And now Faye's pass up to Crawford. She gets around the defender, and she'll look to continue upfield. And it looks like Souderton's now going to be a man short. And North Penn will go, that's number 20 to Thomas, going off the field. So North Penn will be a man up with Pickford with possession for the Knights. Pickford to O'Donnell. O'Donnell chips it, intended for Stoltler. Taken back by the Indians and then taken away by Pickford. Pickford sends it up. Looks like that's Stoltler. And now the Indians take it away. That was actually Crawford for the Knights, not Stoltler.
Unfortunate call there going against the Knights as Crawford looked like was looking for Barrow. However, the sticks just made contact and went Souderton's way now. However, the Knights taking back possession once again in Souderton territory.
And Pickford leads off to O'Donnell. She'll send it towards the slot for Barrow. Barrow knocks it down and leaves it intended for Scanlon, and they turn it over to the Indians. Pass up to Keenan. Taken back by Kelly, and now North Penn to go the other way. Kelly has it for the Knights. Fans on the pass attempt. However, she'll continue with possession. As we approach the 4-minute mark, Kelly. And Kelly to send it down to Crawford. Crawford misses it, but O'Donnell's right there to make up for the Knights. O'Donnell has it. She'll send it over to Pickford. Pickford has it stolen, and the Indians look to go the other way. And now another call against the Indians. North Penn retakes possession.
Fisher was able to stand up that leading pass there, leading attack by the Indians. However, it looks like it might be back. Yes, it will be back to the Indians in their own territory. As we reach a 3-minute mark, the Knights still up 2-1 here as we wind down to the final minutes here in the first half.
It's going to be Boriso Passing over, taken away by Scanlon. And the man back in for Souderton. Both teams at even strength. They'll send a pass to the middle of the field to Gabriel. Gabriel pitches it down low. Lead pass to Hunsaker. Just too far, and it looks like it's going to go out of bounds. North Penn takes over. It's going to be Daniels for the Knights.
Just put a little too much on that pass. Hunsaker had a lot of room to work with, just unable to catch up with the ball.
And now Hunsaker to continue. She'll send it towards the slot. Taken away by the Knights, and it's going to be Faye passing up to Barrow. Barrow sends a lead pass to O'Donnell, just too far, taken away by the Indians defender. And now O'Donnell takes the pass attempt away, and O'Donnell has it moving towards the net, poked free, and now in corner for the Knights.
Great defensive play by Barrow, following up that too far pass attempt, able to pull up a great defensive play in Souderton territory once again, as we said tonight. North Penn able to knock down on all parts of the field on defense, and once again with another corner attempt here, as we reach just under 2 minutes left here in the first half.
And it's O'Donnell to pass it for the Knights. O'Donnell to Barrow. Barrow takes the shot, shot blocked. And now the Indians take over. And they have it just about midfield, going up. The Indians have it. Hesitates on the pass attempt, then blocked by Fisher, and it goes to the outside. Fisher, good defensive play. And the Knights take it there. Taken them back by the Indians, and they look to go the other way. That's Schmidt. And now Faye takes it for the Knights. Intended for Scanlon, taken back by the Indians. And the Indians continue with possession. It's going to be number 10, Gabriel. She'll send it over towards the slot. Taking it there by the Knights. Looks like that's Fisher with the defensive play. North Penn takes over. Fisher's pass is deflected, and they'll continue with possession. Fisher tries another pass again. This time successful to Crawford. And Crawford, rather Pickford to continue for the Knights. Under 30 seconds to go in this first half. Pickford's pass is intercepted. And a stutter step move by the Indians. They look to go the other way. Her pass is taken away by Barrow and the Knights. Barrow sends a long pass downfield. And it's going to roll all the way and out of bounds as we approach the 10-second mark. And it's going to be Lennon. She'll send it all the way down. Taken by O'Donnell. She has 5 seconds to work with. O'Donnell has it for the Knights. And taken away by the Indians, and a corner called, but that's going to wrap things up for the first half, it looks like.
I will believe play will resume here as the Knights will get their corner attempt here as time has expired, but this last play will resume as O'Donnell sets up for the corner pass in.
Looks like the corner is called just before time expires, so they will have one shot before the half ends. And it's O'Donnell for the Knights to pass it out. Pass to Barrow. Barrow, stutter step move, takes a backhand chip shot and deflected in. The Knights take the goal. It looks like that's Farilla for the Knights off the deflection. The Knights now lead 3-1 going into the half.
And a great, looked like a pass there towards the center, looking for somebody to redirect it. Varilla right there with the backhanded redirection and finds the net as time expired in the first half. The Knights, fantastic first half. Their third goal as the score is 3-1 as we head into second half action.
And let's take a look at some replays for the first, at least the first 3 goals. And we started off this game. It was Michaela Barrow striking the net with 28:53 left in the first. That gave the Knights a 1-0 lead. Then the second goal was also for the Knights. It was Crawford with 22:18 left. Third goal was by Boriso with 17:05. That was 2-1 for the Knights.
And with the final goal we saw there, Varilla able to pull up a great redirection shot there, coming off of the pass by Barrow as time expired in the first half. And as we predicted, a lot of great action, but in the rankings, the Knights up 3-1 here as we conclude first half action. between the Knights and Souderton Indians.
And so we'll throw it to a quick break on a windy October night here at the turf field. 3-1 the score as we enter halftime. Welcome back into the turf field for second half action between the Knights and the Indians in the first round of playoff action here at the turf field. North Penn currently up 3-1, courtesy of Barrow, Crawford, and Varilla. As time expired, Varilla notched in the third goal on the corner attempt. The only goal scored by Boriso for the Indians.
And as the Knights take the field, 3-1, as you said, the scores, we get ready to get set for some second half action here on the turf. And important to note, Anissa Gardizi in net having a great game with five saves on the day, as the Knights will look to continue that great defensive and offensive dominance we saw in that first half.
And the Indians will start with possession to begin this second half. It's going to be number 10, Gabriel, to begin for the Indians. And Gabriel, instead of passing out, she'll go right up the field, cutting through three defenders. Gabriel still has it. Gabriel sends it, a centering pass towards the slot. Just too far and out of bounds. North Penn takes over.
Early on attack there for Souderton. Gabriel shot right up the field, right by North Penn defenders. And with the early on attack, must have been a game plan right out of the half. But unable to find any answer there, as the Knights will now continue possession.
The pass is intercepted by the Indians, taken back by Kelly, and they battle for possession, and Kelly prevails for the Knights. Kelly pass up to Crawford. Crawford looks to continue with possession, but blown dead, and Indians take over. It's going to be Schmidt passing up. Pass is batted down by Gozazinski. And she'll continue with possession. Now tripped up on the play, but North Penn takes over. There's no call. It's going to be Reese passing up to Crawford. Crawford sends a lead pass to O'Donnell. O'Donnell trying to catch up with it in a foot race with Boriso. O'Donnell pokes her free. And now the Indians take over. O'Donnell's going to get the yellow card, and she'll be corded off. And the Indians will be a man up.
Spread out forward.
Tough call there going against the Knights. Has great attack, a leading pass, looking for O'Donnell, however, Bariso and O'Donnell in a great fight there, but Souderton comes up with the ball, however, deep in their territory.
And Boriso will begin for the Indians. She'll pass, quick pass over, out of bounds, deflected off the Indians, and Varilla will leave it for Fisher to resume action. As the Indians are still a man up, it's going to be Fisher passing it back to Faye. Faye will send it over to Daniels. Daniels tries a chip shot up to Pickford. Fans on it, but Pickford recovers for the Knights. And it looks like it might have went out of bounds, and Indians take over. Her pass intercepted by Daniels. She tries to send it up to Pickford and intended for Barrow. Too far and out of bounds. Indians take over. And that's Lennon for the Indians. Lennon's pass is deflected by, that's Crawford. And now North Penn takes over. Barrow will leave it off for Kelly. Kelly to resume play for the Knights. Her pass is deflected and too far for Scanlon. Indians take over. Out of bounds. North Penn looks to continue possession. It's going to be Kelly Pickford along the far sideline. Pickford sends it down, intended for Scanlon, just too far, and out of bounds. Indians take over.
We've seen that quite a bit. A lot of hard passes there for the Knights. Unable to come up with a receiver, though. But Souderton, right there, hard pass. They'll find an answer on the push-up field into Knights territory.
Now it's Gabriel for the Indians. She'll continue possession. Gabriel sends it up to Gozazinski. A saucer pass towards the slot. Saved by Gardesi and knocked out of bounds.
That's great defensive play by Gardesi, coming right out of the net, not letting any chance of that ball getting to the center and finding anybody right in front of the net. And as though Souderton will get possession here. Anissa with her 6th save on the day.
And North Penn now back at even strength as Pickford takes away the pass there from the Indians. She then turns it over and the Indians look to go the other way. Indians continue with possession. It's Schmidt. They'll continue up the far sideline with possession. Pass to the slot. It looks like the play was blown dead. And the North Penn Knights take over. Kelly passing up to Barrow. Deflects off of Barrow and out of bounds. Indians take over. Indians have it along the far sideline. That's Lennon. Her pass is intercepted by Kelly. And Kelly's pass downfield intended for O'Donnell. Just too far. And O'Donnell is going to leave it for Scanlon to resume play for the Knights. Scanlon then loses it to the Indians, but off the whistle they'll continue possession. Varela for the Knights will take over, and she'll actually leave it off for Kelly. Kelly sends it down low, intended for Crawford, taken away by the Indians, and the Indians look to go the other way. And that's taken away, and then the whistle blown. Indians continue with possession. That was Keenan with possession, and she'll leave it off for Hunsicker. Her pass is intercepted by Varela. Varela's pass is then knocked down. She gets her own attempt, and the Indians look to go the other way. It's number 12, O'Hara, bidding it off. She'll continue with possession. O'Hara has it. She'll send it towards the slot, taken away by Varela as it was deflected and falls back into Indians' possession. Her pass is deflected once again by Varela, and the Indians take over there. Fisher blocks down the pass, and out of bounds. O'Hara to resume action for the Indians. O'Hara sends it towards the slot, knocked down by the Indians. Turnaround shot taken away by Daniels at the net. That was actually Faye, and now a corner called for the Indians.
And even though now another corner attempt here for Souderton, North's been able to lock down a lot of defense there. Varela knocking down a couple passes. However, Souderton was able to continue with possession. And with a stolen there, pass by number 29, Fahey. Souderton, however, will now attack here on the corner.
And now a shot. Stick save by Gardesi. And out of bounds.
From diving stop there by Gardesi to her stick side, able to lay out. Now is definitely going in on her far right pad. However, she's able to lay out and make a huge stop and keep this game 3-1 with the Knights up.
And now Schmidt has it. She'll leave it off for O'Hara. And the Indians will continue with possession. Schmidt sends it towards the slot and taken away by the Knights. It looks like that's Scanlon. Gets around one defender. And now she's going to move up field herself. Give a lead pass to O'Donnell. O'Donnell has to catch up with it. She's going to get around one defender. Still has it in her possession. She'll continue with possession. And a corner for the Knights.
Number 17 there, Borso, once again in that one-on-one battle with O'Donnell. Ties up O'Donnell enough as the ref called the corner. And the Knights here up with 3-1 as we reach our 23-minute mark here in the second half. Once again, another corner attempt for the Knights as they look to capitalize and put them up by 3.
And O'Donnell has it with the pass. O'Donnell to Barrow. Correction, that was Kelly. And now the Indians take over. O'Hara for the Indians to continue with possession. Pass is blocked by O'Donnell, and they chip it out the far side of the field, and the Indians still have possession. They'll continue with possession, moving up to just about midfield, and that's where the Knights take over. It's going to be Scanlon for the Knights, sending a pass up to O'Donnell. And Scanlon to continue for the Knights. Scanlon has it taken away by the Indians, but a corner called against the Indians. North Penn looks to strike here with 21:58 left in the game. 3-1 to score as they get a corner.
And O'Donnell was able to keep that play alive right in front of the net of Souderton as she was swarmed by jerseys of red. However, Barrow making stops up at the far end of the field, keeping it in Souderton territory. And now O'Donnell will look to capitalize here with another corner attempt for the Knights in Souderton territory.
And O'Donnell for the Knights, she'll pass out. Bounces off the stick of Crawford. She has to regather, sends a shot down low, pass rather to O'Donnell. O'Donnell still has it, gets around one defender. Stolen by the Indians, and Crawford's there for the Knights. And now number 3, Lennon, takes it away for the Indians. And they look to go the other way. However, they turn it over to the Knights, and Kelly Pickford will resume action for North Penn.
And as we said all night, the Knights are able to continue with great defensive stops, even on offense. As in Souderton territory, they'll look to continue possession here.
And a pass into the slot. Shot attempt by O'Donnell. She fans on it, and the Indians go the other way. The Indians will continue with possession. It's going to be Borso for the Indians. Borso's pass is deflected and bounces to Faye. She'll send it off to Daniels. Daniels sends it up. Taken there by O'Donnell. O'Donnell then feeds Barrow up the far sideline. She has to catch up with it. And Barrow has it there for the Knights. Out of bounds. And now North Penn continues with possession. Barrow poked free by the Indians. And she'll continue with possession. The Indians look to go the other way, actually. And they have up the far sideline. Taken away by Megan Daniels. And Daniels now springing. And O'Donnell can't catch up with it. Taken back by Lennon.
Stop!
And now Pickford has it. Over to O'Donnell. She'll send a pass to the slot. Crawford can't knock it down there. And Varela tries to catch up with it just too far and out of bounds. Indians take over. That's going to be O'Hara to resume action for the Indians. O'Hara's pass is deflected and intercepted by Crawford. Crawford springing towards the slot. She maintains possession. Tries to take a shot and a corner as the shot was blocked by DeThomas. North Penn gets a corner now.
You know, even with that great attack there by Crawford in front of the net, great defensive stop by DeThomas, as even though we will see another corner attempt here for the Knights, DeThomas able to stop that quick attack and open attempt there on the goalie McCallick.
And now O'Donnell to pass it out for the Knights. She'll send it over back to O'Donnell. O'Donnell's pass is knocked down, and the Indians look to take over. And they do. It's going to be Lennon for the Indians to resume action. Lennon sidesteps the defender, now looking to go upfield. Pass up to Gazazinski. And she's now moving across midfield. Gets around one defender. Pass is deflected and blocked by Daniels. And the Indians will continue with possession. Gazazinski passes up to her winger along the far sideline. Taken away by Fisher. Correction, Faye. And the Indians will continue with possession. She's swarmed by 2 Knights. And taken away, it looks like that's Kelly. It passed up to O'Donnell. She can't control it. It's going to bounce to Thomas. Thomas passes up to 7 Hunsiker. And she'll now move up the far sideline. Pass up to Gazazinski. Out of bounds. North Penn takes over.
And contact there met as the Knights will take over possession as we reach the 17-minute and 30-second mark here in the second half. The Knights up 3-1. and look to continue action here and possession.
And off the whistle, Lennon will take over for the Indians. Her pass is immediately intercepted by O'Donnell. And then taken back there by the Indians.
Looking like a miscue of play. The Knights thought they had possession and sending it upfield. However, the play was immediately stopped, and now the Indians will attack here, is looking to put some shots on Gardizzi.
And O'Hara passing up. And now a corner for the Indians. And it's going to be number 2, Keenan, for the Indians.
And we'll see what Red can do here. The Indians looking to strike the board.
Keenan's pass out to number 10. She'll pass it over to O'Hara. Does a spin move. She'll regroup a reverse chip taken away by Daniels. And they'll clear it out. It's now Reese who can't catch up with it. And that's actually Hunsicker for the Indians. Hunsicker still has it. And now another corner for the Indians.
Indians working up some offense here in the second half. And among that missed on that last corner attempt, Gardizzi coming up with another save, her 8th save now on the game, letting up only 1 in that first half. And we'll see if Souderton can capitalize here in North Penn territory.
And Keenan's pass back out over to Gozazinski. Pass bounces, takes the shot. And it's going to be deflected and cleared out by the Knights. That was Rachel Fisher after Gardizzi sprawled to make the save. Fisher comes out to knock the rebound away and out of bounds. Another corner for the Indians.
And Grodzinski started that attack there with a chopper pass and redirected around. However, Gardizzi able to get her right leg shooting out and knock it out of play to keep the score 3-1. The Knights up by 2. But Souderton now answering again.
And Gabriel takes a shot there, saved by Gardizzi. Another shot blocked down by Kelly. And the Indians will continue with possession. Indians still have it knocked free by the Knights. And North Penn looks to go the other way. It looks like it's Crawford. That was actually Lampetok trying for possession, and she'll get it over to Kelly to resume action. Kelly's pass up to O'Donnell, and the Indians now take over. And it's going to be to Thomas, leaving it off to number 16, Schmidt. Schmidt's pass is blocked by O'Donnell over to O'Hara. Taken away by O'Donnell, she'll feed Varela. Varela going up the near sideline, cut off by O'Hara, and Knights will continue with possession. It's going to be Varela leaving it off for Fisher. And Fisher sends it up, blocked by the Indians, and she'll continue with possession. Fisher pass is intercepted. Varela tries to take it back, and now DeThomas will continue action for the Indians. DeThomas's pass is knocked down and by O'Donnell. And O'Donnell gets around one defender. She's now going to feed Lampetok. And she'll find Scanlon instead. Scanlon sends it towards the slot to O'Donnell. O'Donnell has it. She's going to slow it down, get possession. And a corner for the Knights.
And O'Donnell immediately swarmed, working with some great movement there in front of the net. However, Souderton able to apply some pressure. But the Knights, once again, will come up with another corner attempt. And as we reach the 13-minute and 30-second mark left here in the second half of this game, the Knights still up 3-1.
And O'Donnell to pass it out for the Knights. She'll pass to Kelly. Kelly feeds Scanlon back to Kelly. Kelly takes the shot, deflected, and into the net. North Penn gets the goal.
And McCallick looked like she stuck out her right leg trying to make that save, but however, just rolled up on her. Has a great shot there by the Knights, and she's able to bat it out of her net. And the Knights answering on another corner attempt. 4-1 the Knights lead as we reach our 13-minute mark here left in our first round playoff game between the Souderton Indians and North Penn Knights.
And that was Stolter lighting the lamp for the Knights. And now it's the Indians. Gabriel feeding O'Hara along the near sideline. And her pass goes out of bounds. North Penn takes over. It's going to be Fisher for the Knights. Fisher pass up to Varilla. She'll find Stoller instead. Taken back by DeThomas. DeThomas up to O'Hara. O'Hara's pass is cut off by Fisher. Good defensive play by Fisher. But the Indians take over. And it's going to be Gabriel for the Indians. And Gabriel will send it back to 17 Borso. She'll send it over to Lennon. Correction, Hunsicker. And they now go up the far sideline. They'll continue with possession after the whistle. They still have possession going up the far sideline. She'll feed it into the slot, taken away by Faye and hit out of bounds. Indians continue with possession. And it's Hunsicker. Pass intercepted by the Knights. And North Penn takes over.
And Souderton working on the attack there, however, immediately met by some great defense there by the Knights. And they will resume possession, however, now stolen by Souderton, and they'll continue the attack in North Penn territory.
And both teams play catch. Souderton prevails with possession, and then knocked out of bounds off the Knights. And it's going to be Lennon continuing possession for the Indians. Lennon up to number 10. That's Gabriel. Gabriel's going to slow things down. She'll pass it along to O'Hara on the near sideline. Out of bounds. North Penn takes over. And it's going to be Fisher for the Knights.
Pass intended there for O'Hara, however, just out of her reach. And now Fisher will begin the attack here in Knights territory, looking to work it down into the Indians' goal.
And Fisher's pass up to Varilla and then over to Stoltler, but out of bounds. And it's going to be DeThomas. DeThomas skies the pass down, intended for number 10. That's Gabriel, but Varilla knocks it down instead. It's Kelly now for the Knights. Kelly trying to feed O'Donnell, taken back by the Indians, and Varilla ends up with it. Her pass intended for O'Donnell, taken back by the Indians, and then Scanlon takes back possession. She fights for possession, and the Indians are ruled with possession. That's going to be Borso passing it up, taken away by Daniels and the Knights right at midfield. Daniels now looking to feed Stoltler. She finds Stoltler. Heavy defense by the Indians. Stoltler maintains possession. Stoltler still has it for the Knights, and a corner for the Knights now with 10:15 left in the game.
And great attack there by Stoller, able to work through two defenders and continue the attack into Souderton territory. And as you said, we're reaching 10 minutes left here in the second half. North Penn to continue with the offensive attack. However, Souderton needs to get something going, down by 3.
And now O'Donnell to pass it out for the Knights. O'Donnell passing over to Pickford, and immediately he will try it again as the player is kicked out. So O'Donnell to pass it for the Knights once again. O'Donnell to Pickford. Pickford back to O'Donnell. O'Donnell fans on the shot attempt, saved by McCulloch. And Pickford still has it. Cleared out by the Indians. And they go the other way. It's going to be number 7, Hunsicker. Her pass is deflected out of bounds off the Knights. And they'll continue possession. The Indians have it. Just about 9 minutes left. And her pass is intercepted by Scanlon. Taken right back by Gazazinski. And Gazazinski will send it up. Taken back by the Knights, but immediately turned right back to the Indians off the whistle. So Gazazinski will continue with possession for the Indians. She'll try a short pass at the far sideline. She'll pass up, intercepted by Pickford. And Pickford has it. And the Indians will take it back. Work on the far sideline. Sends a shot. Knocked down by the Knights, and now she feeds Scanlon. Scanlon has it for the Knights. It's a 4-on-3 for the Knights. She feeds Crawford. Crawford 1-on-1. She's now getting helped by Stoller. Crawford has it for the Knights. Has to slow down, gets around one defender. Crawford has it for the Knights. She's going to take the shot. Saved by McCulloch, and the Indians take it there. It's going to be cleared out of bounds. Good save by McCulloch to keep the Indians only down by 3.
Yeah, McCulloch coming up there with the third save on another great North Penn Knights attack. Another shot there, another great kick save by McCulloch. And Souderton will push up field, try and get something on the board going here for offense late in this game.
And the Indians push up field. It's now going to be Gazazinski setting a deep pass, intercepted by Daniels and the Knights. Daniels at midfield looking to go the other way. She'll feed Verilla on the near sideline. Verilla has Stoller downfield. She now finds Stoller. Immediately overtaken by DeThomas, but Stoller will continue with possession for the Knights. And she'll actually toss it back. And Verilla will take over for the Knights. Verilla sends it down to Crawford. Correction, Scanlon. And now the Indians take over. It's O'Hara sending it down. And that's going to be Keenan. Keenan's getting around Daniels. Now tries to get around Faye. Chips it to herself. And Daniels overcomes possession there and knocks it out of bounds.
Met there by Daniel. Defense able to work that attack out of bounds. As the clock will continue to wind down, we just reached just under 7 minutes left here in the game. And 4-1, the Knights up by 3. But Souderton looking to get some attack here on Anissa in net.
And Anissa saves the net there. Anissa Gardizzi on the ground, and the rebound jammed in by number 10, Gabriel. Knights now lead 4-2.
Yeah, Anissa coming up with a save, however, on the ground, unable to reach out and pick up that rebound. And Souderton answers here. Now down by 2 with 6:36 left here in the game. Great game here and a great ending, as I'm sure we will see. The Knights looking to hold on to this 2-goal lead and continue the attack up into Souderton territory.
And now North Penn sends a lead pass downfield, and Crawford gets to it. Crawford has it going towards the center of the net, and a corner for the Knights.
You see North Penn answering right back there, right back on offense now with a corner attempt. And looking to reassure, perhaps put them back up by 3 here in the game.
And it's going to be Crawford passing it out. Looks like that's Barrow. She'll leave it off for Kelly. Kelly sends it down low. Quick deflection in, and Crawford scores for the Knights 5-2 as North Penn strikes back quickly.
And there it is, Crawford answering with her second goal of the night, and a big answer there for the Knights, putting North Penn back up by 3 here as we reach just under 6 minutes left in the game. Great tic-tac-toe passing and a redirection found there for Crawford on the far right post of the net, beating McCulloch.
Look at the time.
And now up 5-2. Knights here late in this match here on the turf.
And it's going to be Gazazinski resuming play for the Indians. Her pass is now overtaken by Reese. And Morgan Reese looking to go the other way for the Knights. Her pass is intercepted by number 7. That was Hunsicker. She now feeds her winger along the far sideline. And the Indians will continue with possession. Pass downfield, taken back by the Knights. And she's going to feed Scanlon. Scanlon pass up intended for Barrow and out of bounds. North Penn continues with possession. Barrow still has it for the Knights. Barrow's pass over to Kelly. Kelly downfield for Crawford. Crawford has it, gets around one defender. And a corner for the Knights.
And with Conter met by DeThomas trying to force that ball out on Crawford. Crawford able to hold on to the ball and force that corner. Another corner attempt for the Knights. This last time, as we just said, the Knights scoring, making it 5-2. Let's see if they could perhaps make it 6-2 here as O'Donnell gets ready to send it in on the corner attempt for North Penn.
And O'Donnell with the pass to Barrow. Barrow takes a shot, blocked. She gets her own rebound, still has it. And now overtaken, and the Indians will continue with possession off the whistle.
Great defensive play there in Souderton territory by Gwodinski, able to knock down that Barrow shot on that 1-on-1 attempt for Barrow on off that corner. Over Souderton now will continue with possession, stolen by the Knights.
And Verla then loses it back to North Penn, tries to catch it back up with it. And the whistle gives Souderton possession.
And that's reached just under this 4-minute mark here. Souderton needs to get the offensive going. As clock will continue, the Knights up 5-2.
And Fisher knocks down the pass and gets possession. Pass up to Scanlon. She tips it to Kelly. And now taken back by the Indian, it's Lennon. Lennon's pass up to Keenan, intercepted by Daniel. She now springs Barrow along the far sideline. Barrow has it too far and out of bounds. Indians take over. And now Lennon has it. Crossing midfield, taken back by Kelly. And the Knights look to resume action. Long pass down to Crawford. Crawford, it's a 3-on-2 for the Knights. If they can hurry, Crawford gets around one defender. She'll send it into the slot for O'Donnell. O'Donnell has it. Kick saved by McCulloch and a corner for the Knights.
McCulloch, they're coming over with their 5th save on the night, and a great attempt there with O'Donnell and Crawford working tag team. However, McCulloch able to come up with a big save off the redirection from her defender. But the Knights, and as time will continue, just as 2:45 mark, the Knights will work the clock here, and up by 3, 5-2 is your score late in this match here on the turf.
And O'Donnell passes out to Barrow. Barrow sends it over to Scanlon. Scanlon sends it down low. Tried to take a shot, was Reese. She fanned on the shot attempt, and Indians take over. That would have been a beautiful tic-tac-toe goal if Reese could have connected and beaten McCulloch, but nonetheless, Indians get possession. 5-2, still the score, as the Indians move up the far sideline. And they'll continue with possession. It's Gazazinski passing upfield. She'll continue with possession. They have as they approach the slot. Gazazinski turns it over to the Knights, and it's going to be Fisher leaving it off for Kelly to resume action as we're just under 2 minutes now. Kelly passing upfield to Barrow. Barrow sends a reverse up intended for O'Donnell, just too far, and it's going to go out of bounds. Nearly out of bounds. O'Donnell puts up a fight, but the Indians will continue with possession.
It has reached the 1-minute 30 mark here in the game. Souderton's looking to push upfield here, needing to get some answers quick. But North Penn meeting them with heavy defense once again in Souderton territory, as we've seen all night.
And now Hunsicker has it for the Indians going up the far sideline. They'll continue with possession. And Hunsicker passing over to number 16, Schmidt. And now North Penn will be a man under as O'Donnell goes to the sideline.
All the way down.
And it's going to be Schmidt setting it down, taken back by Fisher. And Fisher then loses it to O'Hara. O'Hara sends it down, taken there by Lennon. And the Indians continue with possession under a minute. We're approaching 40 seconds left. Lennon to continue with possession for the Indians. Lennon has it. Stood up there by Erica Kelly and the Knights. And Kelly's going to clear it all the way down. And it's going to be taken there by Borso. Borso's going to go the other way with it and send it back into Knights territory, taken over by Daniels. Under 20 seconds to go in this game. Daniels has it for the Knights. Daniels sends it down just to dump it to Borso. And Borso's pass attempt blocked by Scanlon. Under 10 seconds to go in this game. The dump attempt by the Indians. They'll continue with possession under 5 seconds. And it's going to be Gazazinski sending it down. Gardesi makes one last save, and that's all she wrote. Knights take it 5-2 here at the turf field, and they will advance to the second round of playoff action.
And a great game, as we said early on. Interviewing Miss Anthony, the assistant coach of the Knights. A lot of momentum built on, as we saw early on in the game. Early goals, and a lot of great action offensively and defensively by both teams. However, the Knights showing more of that as they win the game 5-2. Concluding the first round of action, eliminating Souderton.
And let's take a look at the goals for both teams. Everything started off in the first half. 1 minute and 7 seconds into the game, Michaela Barrow struck early. 1-0 Knights. Following that, Crawford for the Knights. 22:18 left in the first half. 2-0 North Penn led. Then following that, it was Boriso for the Indians, knocking it down to a 2-1 lead with 17:05. This is all the first half. Then Crawford and Varilla struck back. It was 3-1 at halftime as Varilla got the corner just before time expired. Over to the second half.
And Stoller answering also for North Penn with a goal, the 5th goal on the game. However, Souderton then, Jess Gabriel scored the 6th goal. And then Crawford finishing off with a goal, the 7th goal of the game, or 2nd goal of the game along with that. Crawford with a big redirection goal. And the Knights holding down in the concluding second half. Fantastic game, as we saw.
And so the Knights improved to 13-5-1, and they go on to face Plymouth Whitemarsh this Wednesday night. Souderton ends their season at 9-11. North Penn beats Souderton 5-2 here on the turf field, and that's going to wrap up our coverage here at the North Penn High School turf field. For North Penn Television, I'm Jake Glubrick, alongside me, Eric Jessberger, saying so long. We hope you enjoyed our coverage, and we'll see you next time here on North Penn Television.